Sketches from the Frat House. I'm recording at a really weird angle because the lighting is not working with me too well. I wanted to show you something. I have finally found a finance planner for my Midori style notebooks that I am completely in love with. I've always kind of kept the bills in my monthly calendar and then put them into the weekly, and then on the day they're due, if it's something that has to be due before a certain day, I flag it. I have, business expenses and stuff for Mike in a different place, and it just really kind of made me nuts. There is a shop on Etsy called Plan Inc, P-L-A-N-I-N-K, and she has a fantastic finance planner. It's a regular size Midori style insert, okay? It is not very big, and it's for the entire year. So I was thrilled when I saw this. I've tucked it in my planner, put tabs in there for the months. I'm going to show you guys a blank monthly spread to show you what it looks like. There are a few things at the beginning of the insert and the end of the insert that are cover the entire year, and then in between those two, that's just a couple pages at the beginning and the end. In between those two, there are 4 pages for each month. So it's not a very thick insert. I'll show you in my planner, but I wanted you to see it because it is really, really cool, and I've been using it for about a month, exactly a month actually, and it has helped my brain so much because our income, part of our income is really variable. So helping me to keep track of that and the business expenses has been a boon for me. The only thing that's in there that I'm not really using is there's one page that's an expense record, kind of like a check register. Excuse me. I have an app on the phone called MoneyWiz that I use as a check register, so for the separate accounts. So that page I'm not really using, but it could be used for a couple different things. So I will flip the camera around, and I'm gonna go see what Liam's doing, because if you saw, he left the room and now it's eerily quiet. I like the quiet, and anymore the quiet scares me because it can't mean anything good. I can hear him talking now. So I'm gonna run in there, I'm gonna see what's going on, and then I'll show you guys the finance planner from Plan Inc. All the links will be down there, okay? Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so here is the finance planner from Plan Inc. on Etsy. I am trying my darndest to see in the viewfinder because the sun is so bright off the snow outside, but I'm not knocking it because there's actually sunlight today. So I have a bunch of stuff filled in on this, so I'm going to show you a blank one, okay? But here's what comes in the insert. The insert itself is this big, okay? That's the whole year. Well, it's February through December of 2015. Okay, so it's nice and slim. I went ahead and just tabbed each month. Each month has 4 pages. Okay, so I'm going to show you the stuff at the beginning, and then I'll show you a blank month. So here's your first page, and any important dates. There's a chart for important dates for the entire year. Okay, and then it jumps into bills and payments checklist. So anything that is, to me at least, anything that's the same date every month, especially automatic payments. I've started filling these in. As you can see, I already screwed some of it up and had to white some of it out, but that's what that is going to be for. And then there is a debt tracker. I love this. This is so cool. So you have the description column, so the debt, the amount due, the minimum payment, and the due date. Okay, the opening balance and the closing balance, and then a column for each month through the end of the year for each one of those. Okay, so there's room on here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them if you use all of those cells. Okay, and then it starts into the month. So let me find a blank month for you. So here is what the month spread looks like. I have a tickle. Pardon me, you guys. So there is a month on a page. Okay, so you turn it horizontally for that. That I've been using just when I set it up at like the end of the prior month. I just go through the prior month calendar and real quick write down what days what is due. And a lot of times, a lot of that's on the same date, so I just copy it over so that I have it for the current month, and then anything that I know changed. Some things will be a little variable as far as the date, especially because we just ended February with the 28 days, so it's a shorter month, so that can make some of the due dates change. So I like going through that just kind of as a rough run through so I know when stuff is due before I fill it in on the upcoming page that I'll show you. The next page is an expense tracker. So this to me is kind of like I mean, you can use it to track anything, obviously. To me, it's like a checkbook register. So the date, the description, the amount, whether it was cash or card, and the category. I do have an app on my phone that I use as a checkbook app called MoneyWiz, but this is nice for if I don't want to get the phone out, like if I'm in the grocery line, or you know, if the phone is charging in the other room and I don't want to go get it or whatever, or bring it with me, which is pretty rare, but it does happen. So I just kind of can jot expenses in here real quick so that I remember to get them into that app. Okay, and then your next day or the next sheet for the month is the budget worksheet. So there is a box for any charity donations you made, your savings goal for the month, and then a checkbox for if you made it or not. And then this page is fixed expenses. So here, due date, description, amount, and a checkbox to make sure that you paid it. So this to me is anything that's automatically withdrawn. So we have stuff like one of the boys has a Spotify account that he pays for every month. One of the younger boys, he has a job, so one of the younger boys also has a Spotify account that's part of his allowance every month. He wanted that. Those come out on the same date every month. So anything that's an automatic withdrawal that comes out pretty much on the same date every month, I go through using this calendar, the monthly calendar, to make sure that I get those dates right, and I fill all that in, and then as those get automatically withdrawn, I check them off. And then you've got some blank space down here at the bottom. And then over here, you have total income, total expenses, total savings, and then this is variable expenses. Okay, so over here is stuff that it may be due on the same date every month, like the cell phone bill, but that can vary. That isn't the exact same amount every month. Stuff over here is the same amount every month, and a lot of that is automatically withdrawn. Stuff over here, some of it may be automatically withdrawn, but the amount may be different every month. So I keep those separate so that I know everything over here is a fixed amount, the same every month. These are the amounts that change. And then this part up here I use to track our variable income. My income can be variable. Mike's income from the clinic is variable, obviously, because during hockey season he has road trips and whatnot, so he's not at the clinic, you know, full time, close to it. But so over here I track our variable income. So what I do is this column I use as the total, any expenses that we had for business expenses, and then what the difference is between those two is what I put here, and I use each line for a week. So this is the first week of the month, the second week of the month, and so on, and then I use the last line as the total for the month. Okay, and then what I do, I'll show you in the back, I take the total for the month, all those totals, the total income, the total business expenses, and the total savings, and I put them on the very last page in here. Trying to cover stuff up, sorry guys. There is a nice big box for the year on here. This is for savings goals. It does say savings goals at the top. I just use it to track our variable income each month. So all of the info from that other sheet from the top, I enter into that calendar in the back. Okay, so you have these 4 pages, the monthly calendar, the expense tracker, and the 2-page budget worksheet for each month. And then when you get to the end of those, my fingers and my brain do not care to work together today. Okay, there's an online shopping tracker after your monthly sets are done. So the date you purchased, the description, the amount, the date that it shipped, and the date that it arrived. And there's 2 full pages of that, so you've got a really good spread to track any of your online purchases. And then there are 2 sheets of just blank, you know, for notes. You've got some space there for that, and then that last page behind that is that savings goals page. So that is it. I love this little thing. This has taken the bills pretty much out of my daily pages. If there's something that is maybe due on a different date one month, like I said, because February kind of throws off the due dates a little bit, in March, I will write that in on my daily page just so that I remember if there's a specific day I wanted to pay something. I'll write it on my daily page so I don't forget, but it keeps the expenses off my monthly chart, away from my projects, away from the schedule on the monthly calendar. I was writing it in on the monthly calendar, and I'll show you guys our monthly calendar looks like, well, that's April. Let me show you March just because I know that one's all filled in. This is what my monthly calendar looks like already. This is just schedule stuff. So when I go throw bills in here, I can put them down the side column. I've done that. I can put them at the bottom. I did that. Back here, you can kind of see at the bottom there. And it's just really messy. So because we have so many people in the house and there are so many schedules going on, it is so much easier for my brain to have all of the bill stuff separate. So I have it all in one nice little thin insert for the entire year. It's set up the same every month and I don't have to do the setup. It's done. And that right there is priceless. So you guys go to Etsy and visit Plan Inc. She's got a ton of inserts available. There are regular planner inserts available there as well. But that is the one that I've played with the most, is the finance planner. Okay, you guys, if you have any questions, anything at all, let me know. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.